You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 185 of the Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I am joined by co-host Jesse Riddle, producer Chris Guffey, and I guess co-host Zach Burcham.
I'm back.
Again.
Yep.
What's up, man? What are we doing?
Well, we're going to talk about some national news, talk a little bit of local news, COVID, of course. First, we're going to thank all the Patreon people. It's nice and toasty in here, thankfully. And that's due to all the people that chip in a couple of bucks or more than a couple of bucks every month. And if you contribute $50 or more a month, you get mentioned at the beginning of every show. So big thanks to Chris Lamb, Christy Avery, Jonathan Phillips, and Anthony Meyer. If you want to buy some Boss Hog merch, and you can also support the show that way. Guffey's over there about to post the links up in there. In the T-Chip stores, BHOL 1, 2, 3, 4, and BHOL mug.
Man, you went so fast through all that. We were supposed to drag this out. There's not much of a show planned. And now we're like 80% of the way through the shit we were supposed to say. Well, it's over. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we will provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. Hopefully, you'll always learn something new. Oh, man. So we did have we had a Patreon segment that was nice and long and windy and went all over the place. So that was good. I encourage you all to join that. Check it out. It's good stuff. Jesse, you were wearing a very generic mask. We do have BHOL masks now.
Yeah.
There are gaiters. If you want to.
Well, the gaiters have been scientifically proven to make it worse.
It's all theater, man. And none of this matters. You're just trying to appease big government that tells you what you have to do.
I like masks.
They released that after I bought like 7 of those gators.
I'll say the one I bought, it was a Hanes mask. Like I bought like 12 or something of them for like $24. It worked out to like $2 a mask. So I
bought a gator, and it wasn't big enough.
I was gonna say, looking at you and me, I don't think gators are gonna work well. We got big necks.
The gator I have doesn't fit this number 18 neck over here.
Yeah. I have my neck's 19.
It's 18, 19, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
I went into get a fitted for a shirt one time, and they told me, "Yeah, you're not going to be able to find a shirt here."
Sir, do you have a neck extender?
Well, it was like Von Mar. It's like Von Mar, and I'm like, they're like, "Well, we need to measure your neck." They're like, yeah, you're gonna have to go somewhere else, and then you go to the big and tall store. So
yeah,
and those shirts do not fit me at all. It's like wearing a sheet. They're huge. They're just massive.
I like a normal mask I throw on if it's going to be quick off and on, like walk into a table in a restaurant. But if I have to wear one for a while, I got the neck gaiters for like the track. When we went there and you're expected to have it on for a while, just a little less cumbersome.
I got the very first mask I bought is the best one I've had, and that's what I've been using. The Wood Brothers mask, the Wood Brothers racing team. It's actually big enough to fit my face, so I'm happy.
I have that problem.
I've got 2 of them.
This one's technically small. It looks like I'm wearing underwear. Everyone has made fun of me for my mask.
Let me put it back on for me. Let's show
where it is.
Let's show. Oh man. Well, how are you going to protect? How are you going to protect all of us?
I don't know.
You've lost your mask.
It's in my pocket.
Okay.
It looks. First off, it looks very skimpy.
It is like a little bikini. A teeny little bikini.
Yeah.
It's so I have to take my headphones off.
Aren't you supposed to shave your beard for this? If you love us.
Like a bikini line, but I don't, I'm all natural. So it looks very underwear-like.
Yeah. It does look like it's right out of the Hanes.
It is. It's
Hanes
made
collection.
from the same cotton as the underwear.
I can't wear a white shirt because I would ruin it. I can't imagine having a white pandemic mask.
Well, you get 12. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm over them. Like, I want to buy the paper ones or whatever. Like the
disposable ones that look like you're just a poor person.
The more traditional ones.
Oh, traditional. Have we been doing this long enough? Now we have traditional masks.
We got a stockpile of those from the track because we didn't use them, and every day we went into the speedway, they gave every one of us a mask, even if we didn't need to have one. So yeah, we have a stockpile thanks to Roger Penske.
That's awesome.
Of those.
Those were nice because they would bend down.
Yeah,
so if you were wearing your glasses,
they have a wire and then
they would hold.
Yeah, these do too.
Yeah,
So,
that is an advantage. In my horrific Georgia trip, I also had a contact that drained out at one point. So one evening, I had one contact that just decided it was going to go.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, so you put your contacts in a case.
Oh,
and
I thought you meant it drained out of your
no,
eye.
No.
That's what I was thinking. Too.
No. I go back to get my contacts the next morning, and one of them's floating lovely, and one of them is all just dried and decomposed, and I had to rehydrate it. So it was going to take like 3 or 4 hours to do that. So that morning, I had to wear my glasses. I haven't worn my glasses with a mask in a store. That is a whole other level of horrible.
Oh yeah, that's why. I mean, that's the mask technology is coming a long way.
Yeah. I needed like some duct tape to run across the bridge of my nose. It was awful.
All the inventors are like, well, crap, these aren't even useful because they never talk to their customers.
Right.
They never wear glasses or something with them. I don't understand it.
They needed some Steve Martin from The Jerk. Some innovation has to come in.
Yeah, I think I tried to wear a mask with sunglasses once. I was like, oh, this is awful for people that have to wear glasses. They go just fogging up constantly.
It's a good transition though. If you're in Los Angeles. By the way, if you're a patron, you got the show notes posted in the super secret Facebook group.
Or if you follow my story, apparently I posted them there.
Ooh, little bonus content from Jesse Riddle.
I didn't know that was like exclusive.
Very
content.
Premium content. You're just giving away the farm over
just
there.
Over here, I'm a pirate.
We're gonna dock your pay. How many people viewed your story? Now I need to know.
Yeah.
How many people checked up on it? 37 people.
I'll let you know by the end of the show.
We'll check in. So Fortune magazine had an article that is linked in there today, saying that the mayor of Los Angeles has I don't know what kind of home rule they have, but he has basically said you can't go walking down the street.
Well, I read it right, and the gatherings are limited to a household.
That's it.
And
this is very well. Media is exempt, so we are completely fine.
You're exempt if you have a dog, according to Ovens O'Brien, who lives in Los Angeles or in that Bel Air or somewhere like that.
Yeah, that's a Bel Air would be a Los Angeles neighborhood or a Chevrolet.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, she made a post about this actually like a day or two ago. And she kind of listed like how like ridiculous. Like I think if you're exercising, you can still do it. Like I think gyms
certain
are
exercising.
Still,
golf is still okay.
I say golf is still
Politicians will never outlaw golf.
Well, I think gyms are still
Thank goodness.
Open. Like I think you can still go to a gym. I'm not.
It's insanity. I know my cousin lives and works in Los Angeles. She's a bar manager. She's out of work again. Second time. Completely shut down. Can't do it.
Yeah.
If you're a business, the money quote here that I had says, this is from the governor in his order from yesterday. We must minimize contact with others as much as possible. The steps were needed to avoid risking the quote unquote needless suffering and death. The order replacing his order from June, so they've been living under this for quite some time, prohibits public and private gatherings of people from more than one household and states that all businesses in the city that require people to work on location must stop operating. Walking, driving, travel on public transportation, bikes, motorcycles, and scooters are prohibited. So you can't ride your bike. Other than those, undertaking essential activities. And that's basically, at this point, grocery stores. Grocery stores, hardware stores, that's about all they're considering to be essential. They're locking it down big time.
We'll see how they enforce it. I follow some guys on social media that they say at least they're big car guys, and they're like, at least I can still go for a drive. And up until like I knew it was Sunday, every Sunday I see this guy. He posts up. There's a place in in the greater Los Angeles area where they're still doing an completely unorganized but amazing cars and coffee every Sunday. And like Jay Leno shows up, all these guys show. It's like a heavy hitters, cars and coffee. And they said they can't shut down because there's no organizer. People just know to show up.
People just come.
And so it'll be interesting to see how if they try and crack down on stuff like that. Because I don't even understand how you can enforce any of that. Like,
so if you travel to Los Angeles and you're over the age of 16 years old right now, you have to complete a form online upon arrival that says that you're going to.
It's essentially a waiver.
That you're going.
You're aware of like the rules and regulations.
That you're going to abide by the rules of the locals. Otherwise, it's a $500 fine potentially. It's insane, man.
But what if you pay the $500? Are you free to roam around?
No, they'll probably shoot you. They'll probably shoot you.
Because I'm like, it's actually worth the $500. I built it into my travel budget. So
yeah, I'm going to Santa Monica Pier, bitches. It's $8 to get out on the pier and $500 for the fine.
I wondered that when they early on when they were doing lockdown tier, and we had a couple of tracks that opened up, and one of them they said, "Oh yeah, they got fined $1,000." I'm like, they sold a couple thousand tickets. What's $1,000 to them? Like, or $500? It's like it's nothing. It's like, yeah, what's I just don't understand how you can enforce that.
Oh, Zach, government always escalates. You know, the first time it'd be 1,000. They said you didn't get it, so now it's 50,000. And then when they say, okay, well, we'll pay that, then they'll just come shoot your dog. That's what's going to happen. Or like you're walking your dog and like, well, that's essential. Shoot the dog. Now you're out. Now you're a criminal. Yeah, now you're a criminal because it's always going to be violence and it's always going to escalate. Am I wrong, Jesse?
It is always going to be violence and it will always escalate. Actually, it'll escalate before violence. And then that violence does escalate.
No, it gets worse. They kill your dog, then they kill you. That's
what I was saying.
That's what pandemic masks are going to do. You're complicit.
Some of us, I wear mine voluntarily because I don't want to possibly give my craps to anybody else. Right. I've always germaphobe before all this. So
you're hoping we all just keep wearing the masks anyway.
That would be wonderful.
You want the sticky people away from you.
I mean, if nothing else, just imagine the unneeded interaction trying to check to see if somebody's travel is essential. It's like you have to stop them and talk to them to ask them if it's essential. And that's an additional interaction between people that would not have had interaction before.
For extended periods of time.
Oh, yeah.
It's
in
not
close proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're normally they don't. I mean, they might, I guess, go your passenger side window, but maybe there's a passenger, but they're like leaning in the car.
I was curious, I guess, during when stuff was really locked down back in March and early April was how many cops were just actually patrolling? Because most people out around here, and even in Indy, it was pretty dead. I remember one day, in April, I drove to Indianapolis and it was surreal. It was there's nothing, no one out here.
There's nothing going on.
I was on the interstate. And it was if you've ever taken 69 south towards 69 that goes down to Evansville.
Yes.
Yeah. It felt like that, but heading into Indy,
the road to nowhere with nobody on it.
This is super weird. And I didn't see much traffic until I got into the city. There was obviously.
Rest assured, there's plenty of traffic on I-70 now. I think it's been shut down 3 times this week.
Oh, I go there.
It's every day.
I go weekly. Yeah. I mean, for the long time, I wasn't taking it because the traffic was terrible.
So this week, the folks in Britain got approval. They can start taking vaccines. They're good to go. Pandemic is over. It's cured.
It's cured.
If you go to England, you're good.
I work with some folks in the UK. I guess I haven't talked to them about this, or maybe they talked about it and I wasn't paying attention. But
you just ignore those emails at your workplace, just like you do whenever it's involving the J.R. Hildebrand race car. And I say, hey, what's going on? You're like, I don't know. I don't read the emails.
I don't read those emails. Oh, but I literally no. I mean, I'm on a team.
Hey, do you want 8 sweet passes? Nah, I don't read the emails.
I don't read the emails. What my point was, I literally work on a team with people from the UK, two women. And
why do they have to be women in this story?
I'm just letting people know.
Okay.
Salesforce. That's women.
All right.
Anyway, the point being, or not really the point, but something that is funny about this is my first day on that team. Sometimes I just go into shitty British expressions. And someone's like, hello. I was like, hello. And then they were the next person said hello and they said it back they're just being funny. And then I learned they're British. And I was like, well, now I'm just the asshole.
It'd be great if they just did really shitty stereotyped American accents back to you.
I should have asked them.
They're Texans. Yeah. Can you be a Texan?
Yeah,
for the entire
what do you
time?
think we sound like? And just
have you ever watched those videos on YouTube? It's hilarious. They're really good. People doing American impressions. It's great.
I've been watching. There's this probably 20-year-old kid who he's a British kid who reacts to videos, and a lot of them are American.
Yeah.
And he's getting ready to get into the Revolutionary War series, and I'm really looking forward to that. Because if you look from England's point of view, they're like, yeah, America just happened. They do not teach anything about the Revolutionary War, and the average guy in the street would be completely shocked that we got our independence from Britain. It's not ingrained in the society over there.
How interesting of a history class would it be to teach the lessons from 2 different sets of books, winner and loser, just to see how different it is? And you could do it in the United States.
Well, that's what's going to happen with this election.
Yeah.
Depending upon what meeting you go to.
It is.
That's something I've never thought about. All of our stories have been projected as the winners.
Right.
Even though not necessarily we were.
Yeah. But if it was a close draw, we still won.
Yeah. But it's like, imagine being like, yeah, we lost.
I do remember being an American
crazy.
kid going, God damn, we won every war.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a record.
I think Pat McAfee talks about undefeated in world wars and just, but you think like, Spangle posted a funny meme this week. It was like, imagine losing World War and your whole country just disappears. And it was a picture of an Ottoman disappearing and then a turkey coming out. And you think about it, and you think like, because I always think of something like the Ottoman Empire. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's some ancient stuff. And you're like, oh, no, that was like
60 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago that was around.
They did exist until then, but over that full period of time. So vaccines are coming, and I kind of am excited about this part. And this is where it's going to be controversial. So we're going to divide the audience at this moment.
Are we?
President Obama, President Bush, and President Clinton have all said this week that they would publicly be more than happy to take the vaccine. Once it's proven to be safe, they're happy to be the demonstration guinea pigs and say, yep, I'll do it. Obama did said it first, and then Clinton and Bush were both contacted, and they said, yeah, sure, why not? I'll do it. I don't care. Basically Obama said, as long as Fauci says it's good, then I'm good. I trust him. I'll go. So is that leadership, Zach, or is that just tribalism, and they're going to give them a placebo, and you're going to get the bad vaccine and die? Which one's going to happen here? Do you trust this?
Yeah, I kind of trust them, but I falsely trust some politicians sometimes. I don't have been defending them locally lately, but yeah, I think that and I know a lot of people don't like him, but he seems to lead by example in some situations. I saw a picture of him. He's like, oh, Black Friday. He goes shopping locally on Black Friday. I was like, and he hits bookstores. So I was like, yeah, I think that they're setting.
He went out.
Set an example.
He's supposed to be staying home to
this
save
was from
lives.
past years because he said normally this is what I'd be doing on like Small Business Saturday. We'd be trying to go somewhere. So yeah, even if it's placebo, it's leading by example because at this point, you talk about people think it's are fake or they don't want to accept. There are some people that are really down a rabbit hole of everything. I mean, I saw a story where they said that there are people that are dying of COVID-19 and swear till the moment they die that they just have the flu and it doesn't exist. So anything we can get to like show people it's real, great.
Riddle, are you going to get the vaccine? You going to jump in line?
Probably not first.
I mean, so none of us are in a category to be able to get it first.
Yeah, I'm going to be
the old folks homes and the
BMI. If your BMI is over 35, you're qualify as one of the first people.
Well, yeah, but there's
and
other
you
people
and me
that are more important.
Above 35.
There's
BMIs.
other people more important than us. There's elderly.
Are they?
There's essential workers.
No one's way more important than me.
The medical professionals. Those guys
homes.
are all.
I agree. Like,
all ahead of the line, as far as I'm concerned.
No, they are, and I wish it came out quicker because right now, like my aunt has it and my uncle have it, and they're not doing great. So, but I've had my other family members have had it. I've got friends that's had it. Luckily, I've skirted. I've been in contact multiple times with people, and I'm like, whew.
Oh yeah, you're constantly having
like
this scare.
14 days. I'm like, all right, well, here we go.
It's exhausting. It's completely exhausting.
And then every tickle in your throat, and then the weather, like I said, the weather smells up and down, and everything that happens, you're like,
as soon as my throat has like a little bit of soreness, and usually it's like a post-nasal drip problem or something. I'm just like, all right, I'm a goner.
Once again, I burnt the hell out of my tongue like 10 days ago. So I haven't tasted anything for days.
And you don't know if it's from that or from
I don't know. As long as I can still smell, I feel like I'm good. I had a negative COVID test like a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm still, I'm still good from that.
Did you do the rapid test?
I've done the rapid test twice. Yeah. And I've also
I've done that one once. That's all I've had. But
I've done the rapid test twice. I've not had the full nasal probe. And then I've had 2 times where I've gotten antibody testing because I've given blood. If you give blood to the American Red Cross, everybody, you get a free antibody test. It tells you if you've had it or not.
Yeah. And I need to, I don't know, giving blood makes me feel like I'm going to pass out.
So does flying. So does getting.
I've done it twice. The first time I thought I had COVID the next day because it was right at the beginning of it. I was off work because we weren't set up for remote work yet. And the next day I felt like I barely could get out of bed. I slept like all day. I'm like, I can't do this if this is going to be there. And the next time I did, it wasn't as bad. But yeah, the first time I was like, I've got it. I'm like, I'm going to get a thing back. And they're going to say, we rejected your blood because you came in here with COVID. I was like, man, it wiped me out the first time.
I was looking for a post.
Producer Chris, while he's looking for that, are you going to get the COVID vaccine? This is what we've been praying for. We've been hoping for. Are you going to snub your nose at it and say, I'm not a follower?
We actually talked about this at work today, and no, I'm not getting it.
At all?
No.
Ever?
No.
Ever?
Ever. No. I don't plan on it.
What if they say you can only go to an Indiana Ice game if you can prove that you've had your vaccine?
That's fine. Indiana Ice no longer exists, so.
I was going to say
the Indiana Fuel.
I was like, the Indiana Ice. Like I was still like
the Indy Fuel.
The racers, whatever the hell your soccer on the ice is called.
Then that's a choice that they make, and it's the choice that I'm making, that I'm not going to get the vaccine, and then I just watch it on TV.
What if your wife wants to get the vaccine?
That's perfectly fine. That's her choice.
Are you afraid of it, or you don't feel like you want the mark of the beast?
No, I just don't want it. I don't feel like I need it, and because I'm young and healthy, and maybe later on down the road when I get older, if I feel the necessity that it's still around, then yeah, I'll get it at that point. But as it stands now, I don't feel like I need it, and I don't get the flu shot, so why would I get this?
Riddle, you think you'll do it, but you want to see somebody else do it first, like maybe a despised old white president or a despised old Obama.
Yes. Yeah,
let them test it first, and then you're good. That you're okay.
I mean, I trust Fauci. I don't have any problems with Fauci. Fauci is a very middle of the road kind of guy. He's speaking from his field of science. Like I've been in Fauci's position, right? Like as a engineer.
Oh, you were a doctor?
No,
please go on.
No, but as like
you're like Holcomb. Sometimes I call myself doctor.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is like being like told that trying to make a use data to make a decision, and your leaders are like not listening.
Right.
And you're like, well, yeah, whatever they say then. Like, it's I can only tell you like this is what's going to happen if we do this. And then if you trump me, pun intended, then you can't just like him, he's like, I can't control this man. Whatever. And then like tuck your tail because you don't want to lose your job because you're getting paid fat to do whatever you do. Right. So
right.
But I don't have any problems with Fauci. He has a great history of doing things the right way, and they've helped. I mean,
other than him lying and saying that masks weren't going to help.
Well, the CDC says that, right? And
but he said it too. I mean, the words came out of his mouth, and that's the credibility he lost, or the problem that I have with him is when he did that, and he was.
Yeah, I mean,
he hasn't publicly apologized to me yet. So.
I think though, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying the masks do help. I mean, like they're not. Pretty much that what they've said, right, is that wearing a mask isn't going to prevent you from getting it, and that has been true up until like a month ago, where they said, well, now the data is saying that wearing a mask can actually protect you. They don't tell you how much. Like really,
it works both ways, right?
Well, but it is like it's a 70%. Like you decrease, I think 70% by projecting, right? And my joke is always like anybody that wants to compete with me against masks, I'm like, well, let's have a spitting contest. You put the mask on, and I don't, and like because we're countering right here, and we'll see who can spit the furthest. And you're trying to tell me you're going to spit further than me? That's not possible.
It's just a muffler for your face.
It's just a muffler for your face. Yeah. And all of it. Yes, it's still going to go out the sides, but you're not like I can't spit on you right now. Well, I could right now, but like if I was wearing a mask, it's going to be very difficult.
Down. Yeah. Right. And it's all about percentages and reducing it.
And like the fact that we have to like have these arguments, I'm like, this is so exhausting.
I mean, that is the crazy. There are still people that argue, like they'll still tell you, well, it doesn't keep you from getting it. I'm like, they've never told you it's going to keep you from getting it. That's never been the argument. Like, and at this point, we are 9 months into this, and why are we still debating like a fundamental part of this?
And I really think that it's literally, if it was anybody. I'm trying to figure like how I feel about this, but like, if it wasn't like, I have this problem with the left and their over like, the snootiness that comes with their bullshit. And they're like, they think they're better than everyone. And immediately their messaging turns everyone off every time. And then people will just do whatever they can to troll and spite them. And like
the messenger is your problem.
Yeah. And you're like, just how about you guys quit being assholes about it? These people will fall in line. Like it's a very simple concept, but I get really mad about it. I don't want to say mad, but it just, I'm like, I don't even talk to people about it most of the time. Like this is the last time I've talked about it in like months, just because gets my blood pressure up a little bit. But as far as the vaccine, yeah, I think I'm not worried about it. I'm actually stoked about the technology that they're using for the vaccine, the mRNA like stuff.
It's the first time it's been rolled out.
It's the first time. Well, and luckily, it's, to me, right, it's proving libertarianism, because what's happened is we've not been able to use these vaccines because of regulations. We've gotten to squash a lot of those regulations and put stuff in the market to actually see what the hell is going to happen. And I'm actually all about it, because like what that means is that we can create vaccines quicker, to the point where you could create a flu vaccine for all the flus very quickly and get it rolled out, right? It becomes a distribution problem versus like a scientific problem of creating them.
And not guessing on the flu shots like they typically
right, exactly.
are. Now they guess.
Yeah, exactly. Now they could get the strains live. Yeah. I think they talked about, what's the company with the M? Moderna. Like they generated that vaccine in like 3 days.
Right. Yep.
And it was everything else in between that was taking all the time. Like the trials and everything, right?
Right. Yeah, they've tested it on like 30,000 people, and they're finding like
but once we solidify
success rate,
the mRNA stuff, which is kind of like, I don't know how much this plays into the CRISPR stuff or not, but once we trust that process, as a society, like we're going to be able to roll out these things much quicker, and we'll probably be able to solve cold problems, like getting the common cold. Like we can like target them and like get rid of them.
I'm looking at it and think, boy, we've been pretty much praying for a cure, right? Like praying for somebody to figure it out, and then we say, "Oh hell with that! I'm not taking that. I don't trust it." Like,
well, that's the hypocrisy there is disturbing as well.
I'm like, man, polio's. I don't have polio. We got rid of polio. We got rid of smallpox because of vaccines. Well, I know it's new, but if they've truly tested it on the people that they have, and they've seen I'm good. Whatever. Let's go. Let's sign me up.
I'll wait
I want to go sit in turn 3 for the Indy 500, and if this is how I do it, then damn it, I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing. Is like everybody's complaining, right? Like, well, I want to do this, want to do that. I'm like, then get the damn vaccine. Like, it's your chances of dying from the vaccine, depending on your age range, is probably way less.
And apparently, the one thing they are telling people is like the first day after it is awful, but they said it's a day. It's not weeks and months.
Right.
And
the only part that has me a little bit concerned is that people have to come back a second time,
and then they're scared people won't come back.
And I'm a little bit concerned that people will just bitch out and flake out and not come back.
That's the thing. You have to explain it to them and say, tomorrow's going to be awful. The rest of the day is whatever it is. I mean, the flu shot for me is not fun. I couldn't sleep on that arm. I'm a side sleeper. I'm like, I can't sleep on my arm for it hurt for a day. It wasn't horrible, but it's like, this isn't fun. But you're like, if I don't get the flu, then great, I'm better off. So
I got the flu shot for the very first time this year.
I got it last year.
I'd never done it before.
And people are like, you're going to be sicker than hell. I'm like,
my arm hurts.
It was 7 days ago. I haven't.
It did nothing to me.
Yeah,
I'm fine. Nothing happened.
Oh, you didn't turn autistic? That's weird.
No. Well, I mean, I already was. So
exactly. I made the post today. I said, the number one side effect right now for the SARS-CoV-2 vaccine is that you turn into Limp Bizkit. And they're like, what? And I was like, it's just to make fun of autistic. It went over so many people's heads, but I was like, I just want to tie in Limp Bizkit because.
All right, Jesse Riddle.
I know about it.
You messaged me this week and said, what the hell is wrong with Henry County government?
What?
So that's why you're here.
Obviously, like the commentator, I was just like, man, this is over the top. This guy is on the microphone all the time. But anyways, yeah, I haven't been paying attention to local politics, unfortunately.
So you know that we have a couple of new county commissioners. Again, Ed Tarantino's finishing his second year.
Yep.
Steve Dellinger replaced the late Kim Kronk.
Dellinger's who I ran against, right?
No.
All right.
You're thinking Steve Duggar.
Duggar. All right.
Steve Duggar, ages ago. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve 1, Steve 2, whatever.
Steve D.
Steve D. Yes. So Steve Duggar back in the day. Former Councilman Duggar. Former guest of the show. So Steve Dellinger is going to be the new county commissioner for the Middle District. And Bobby Plummer was elected. She'll be replacing Ed Yanos, who did not run for re-election. She beat Chris Newkirk and will be taking over in January.
Yep.
The council had I guess it was a Skype meeting. The audio is available. Zach, jump in anytime you need to correct me.
It was Zoom.
It was Zoom.
A Zoom meeting.
Corey the Clay.
And at the end of this conference call that they had, apparently it was, hey, I've been hearing that we might have made, that there was a change made. And this is, by the way, it'd be great if all of the county meetings were recorded, because this is fantastic that we actually get the audio to hear what's going on. I think Councilman Malicote said, I've been getting phone calls hearing, or maybe it was Betsy Mills said.
It was Betsy Mills.
Betsy Mills said, I've been hearing that the commissioners made a change for county commissioner, or for county attorney, going from Joel Harvey and using Martin Shields, who, by the way, have buildings that are next to each other.
I ran past
They literally have,
I was like,
they share a wall.
Awkward.
They share a wall over on Main Street. I'm very concerned when I look at this that the commissioners met outside of a meeting. All it takes is two commissioners to make the decision, right? So if there are two commissioners that decide that they want to go in a direction, they can do it at any time.
And there's only three, right?
And there's three, yes.
And one of the three is Ed Yanis, who's on his way out, said he wasn't asked.
Right. He wasn't consulted.
So there wasn't.
He wasn't consulted, and the new council or commissioner was consulted.
Correct.
Yes. So
correct. So whether or not that was that part, whether they talked to Bobby Plum or not, that part doesn't matter to me. But if they had a majority of commissioners talking and making a decision ahead of time, that's probably an issue.
I think for the record, I think Bobby, whatever, was there. Like they talk about it in the audio.
Yeah, she was. So
Yeah.
Bobby was. So it was Bobby, Ed T, Steve Dillinger, and then Susan Hoon, the county president.
Susan Hoon was there as well.
The council president.
Yeah.
And there are two stories linked in the show notes today. One is the follow-up story today that says Susan essentially says that she was consulted and basically said, I don't care what y'all do. As long as the rates are fine, the council doesn't care. You guys can hire anybody you want to.
Yeah, stick to the budget we passed.
The trick of it is that the county attorney's contract, as it was set up, and maybe this is the crux of why it was a problem, is that the attorney's contract automatically renews every year.
Yep.
And you have to give 30 days notice if you want to make a change. Otherwise, you've got that attorney for another year. So these guys, if they wanted to make a change, really needed to do it at their last meeting.
And that's what they had said.
And they didn't do it, or they didn't realize they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about I'm murky on that part of the details, but I do know that they believe they were under pressure to make a decision.
They had
time.
They had to give him notice by Monday.
Yeah, they had to give him 30 days notice. And so, and Ed T wasn't for sure on how it had to happen. So they just met backdoor room, said, cool, let's get a new attorney, gave him his notice, and said, we'll take official action next month.
Yeah. And then instead of like saying, I don't know how to do my job, which is perfectly fine, right? Like, because we all know you can run for office without any credentials.
Yeah. You
And
don't
that's
know how
people like this get into office.
Well, they run on one issue and then
Right.
they don't care.
So he would, and I would have done this if I was on council. I would have known. I'd be like, I don't know. Like, let me ask the people I need to talk to. And ironically, it was probably the
attorney
Yeah,
that
that's
he's
the
trying to
problem.
fire.
They had to ask.
But you could also just ask, I don't know,
I think
other commissioners, previous commissioners.
I think that Joel Harvey said in the video, so you want to ask the victim if he was treated unfairly?
Yes,
Yeah, you want to ask the victim to rule whether or not he was treated fairly or not.
And I love it. Like, I love that. Like, I'm like, because that's kind of like how I would have answered it, even if I was. I'm like, so you're trying to say like me, like make it third party and just be like, yeah. So you're trying to, and like it was a beautiful like play by him. So it was really funny.
Oh yes, that was worth every nickel of whatever the hell we're paying. I thought that was the greatest moment.
He's a hell of an attorney at that point. I'm like, that's great.
If anybody ever sits in a meeting, the attorney is pretty impressive to watch, because I go to city council meetings and they'll ask just random questions about something, and the attorney usually has the answer, and they're like, oh yeah, you can do this, this, or this, and they know. And so it's not like, I'm kind of interested to see how much Mr. Shields knows about that kind of stuff, because Joel's the city attorney, he's the council attorney.
He's very recently become the city attorney.
Yeah, he did when Mr. Copenhagen retired. I think the end of last year. I think.
Yeah, he retired beginning of this year.
And
so December. Yeah,
there's like a bunch of just random questions that they're really good at answering the questions on the fly.
I'm good. You can fill yourself though.
All right.
You check. You go ahead. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Martin Shields has done this job previously in other communities or not. That'll be interesting to see. It's very sad that our boy Sean Rao was passed over, not even considered.
Yeah,
Public defender.
They
Sean
didn't.
Rao.
They didn't. I mean, he's the
Liberty defender.
Sean Rao, planning commission attorney. The day that they haul me in for doing something wrong, I'll call. Sean's going to be my first call. Better call Sean. But apparently they didn't have an open interview process.
This is a group though that ran because they said that there was not enough transparency and there was shady stuff going on, and some of them have been involved in shady stuff and they haven't even been sworn into office yet. There's already controversy in bits, but
I don't know. Like,
I think you need to pick your own counsel, right? Like, I do think that it's fair for them to. The commissioner should be able to have the attorney they want to have. That part I get. The timing of it is probably very much a rookie mistake, and it does not look good.
Yeah,
and you can't meet out of your meetings. You can't make these decisions out of your meetings, and they can fix it at this next meeting when they say, "Yeah, okay, we're going to vote on this." Yeah. But it's a very bad look.
Well, I think the problem was they already sent him his notice.
Right.
And like they could have held the notice, but I guess he needs 30 days.
He needs the 30 days.
So yeah,
they needed to do it at the meeting before.
Correct. And they just, again, it's about you're in a position, you're not going to training. Supposedly he's like Ed T has been offered training and
it's been there for 2 years now.
Yeah. And it's like, look,
when we come to January, hell, right now, once we come to January, he's the most experienced county commissioner. That's it. He's the veteran.
That's hysterical, but it is.
It's the deal. And we talked about this with Nate Lamar 2 weeks ago that we have an entirely new county government.
Yeah,
the county commissioners are very, very raw. And what he said, I think Nate said at our last one is you need to defer to your attorneys and the people that know. And now that's
we got a new attorney. Yeah,
I would. I mean, sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, you're fine.
I was going to say, I think, these people, it just really depends on how power hungry they are, but I don't think they want to deal with this, right? They don't want to be mocked in public, which is what's happening. And I would imagine they may forfeit their runs next time,
No.
This is the second time they've gotten tripped over because they did something with them. They had to get a moratorium in place for solar or something like that. And they threw it on the docket real quick, right? Within, it was 24 to 36 hours before, some people questioned the legality of them even taking action on something and they did that in November or October. So they're getting caught up a lot on timing.
Riddle, did you break my mic flag over there?
Hey, I dropped mine earlier. At least as it hit the ground, it just falls down the cord.
These have been around for a couple of years now, and I think the plastic that holds them up is starting to wear out a little bit.
Well, you got to choose above the holder or below the holder.
They get hollowed out.
Yeah.
I like the look of them this way, but it's probably safer if they were the other direction. But they may fall out if you go the opposite direction.
I think it's fine. I've talked to one person that's in the current government recently, who's relatively new, and they seemed undecided if they would pursue their chair again, their seat. So I don't know.
It's important to note that the county council and the county commissioners both have been employing Mr. Harvey as their attorney.
Yeah, and the council's going to have them now. The council still has Harvey.
The council still does have
now
Harvey.
We're footing the bill for
So I think I don't know how that's structured. I don't know if it is a hourly rate or if it's an annual rate or how that portion
I believe
works.
one of the Courier Times articles, I tried to catch up both of them, one said that if Mr. Shields will accept the hourly rate that Mr. Harvey was taking, and then the county council said, okay, then we're fine as long as it's. He's going to accept the rate. And it's
would they
be
not?
The same.
They couldn't cut a better deal. I mean, he's a new attorney. He's unproven. He could have taken 80% and just try it out for a year.
Who knows?
We don't know.
They aren't in sales.
Just saying, if we're going to shop it out to a different bidder, we could at least take quotes.
You could have definitely I would have been look, here's an
RFQ for attorney services. Who wants to be my guy?
I feel like we only have do we like the other question is like, why is there only 2 attorneys and why do they have like?
That's what I said. They should. Our boy Sean Rao got completely cut out.
Yeah, well, even I'm just saying any attorney. Like it's like, why are we picking the 2 that have apparently locations downtown?
Well, they're near the courthouse, so yeah. Who knows?
Tony Saunders is right here.
Yeah.
Did anybody call Tony?
Yeah.
Tony's office is 18 feet from where we're sitting. He's downtown.
So that's my concern.
The Four Verandas
there's
down
some
the
sort
street.
of favoritism going on, right?
They didn't
to stack the deck to be like, oh, we can get an attorney that's going to agree with everything that we agree with.
And they never even, from what the Courier Times article said, they said, well, we were concerned about a conflict of interest in that he represents the city and the council and sort of stuff, but they didn't really have. They said we don't really have any issue with any of the work he's done. One of them said that some people quoted saying he saved the county a bunch of money negotiating the lawsuits that the county's been involved in.
You don't have to search for an excuse to make a change.
Yeah.
Right. The county commissioner should have a counsel and a counsel as in their attorney, somebody that they want to work with. And if they want to make a change, I think that's entirely fair. And if they want to do that, okay, fine. I think when I was on the park board, Joel Harvey did some work for us, and I thought he was excellent. I really enjoyed working with him, and it went well. But if they're more comfortable with somebody else, then I think that's fair. The problem is that the way the rules are set up is that they had to do this 30-day deal, and they were inexperienced and didn't realize it. Maybe if they don't want to have this again, then they need to say, hey, you need to set your contract so that they start March 15th, and then you carry somebody over so that the new elected and seated commissioners make the decision.
Well, yeah. And if it's a year-to-year thing, maybe wait a year to see if you're comfortable working with them. Because one of them hasn't actually worked with them, and one of them has worked with him for what, a month or 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's my thing is that the other attorney, I believe, is to some degree has been vocal on, or somewhere, right? It may be in like publicly, but not as like an attorney, right? On the sides of the things, the couple issues that these people operate on, that person is pro that thing. And so they want to give them, because they want to stack their decks, right? Like they want to stack everything up so everything's in their favor. And I think that is what is pushing the agenda more than anything else. I could be wrong, but in the video I sent you, I believe like that was part of it. One of the reasons why they wanted to switch was that like that person knows that this attorney is a little bit more vocal about their positions. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Ultimately, I really don't care, but we're talking about the chess games being played, and then we're just commentators here.
Adios, Henry County. You can deal with your own shit.
So you're gone, Guffey.
Yep, I can't harass the council members that I've harassed for years. It's just sad.
Do you know who your new county council member is up in Delaware County?
I actually looked it up, but I don't.
It's a podcaster.
I forget his name, but I will tell you this. When I went to turn my water on in the town of Daleville, I was like, hey, when's the board meetings for this here town? She goes, second Monday at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Yeah, we're them. I'll be there. Make them nervous.
It's better than 4.
Yeah.
Your new county councilman up in Delaware County is Ryan Ballard, host of the Undertaking podcast, and big IndyCar fan, and runs Ballard and Sons Funeral Home over there in Middletown.
That's in Henry County still.
It is in Henry County, but he lives in Delaware.
Isn't there one in?
I think there's one in Delaware County.
I was going to say there's one in Daleville. I think.
Many of these funeral home places are big corporate machines. They're in multiple communities.
Well, they're all sham. But after my father's passing, I learned that.
They pop up like
our condolences.
No, well, that's whatever. When I walked in there, like, so here's the lay of the land. Would you like to pay $90 for a guest book? I go, no.
For a guest book?
A guest, dude. Yes.
$90 Tell me about for a guest book. I bet you buy that on Etsy for like $14.
Exactly, but here's the thing: your own? You have to pre-plan deaths, and like they get you because you're like, well, I guess we need a book, right? Like they strong arm you into purchasing these hyperinflated purchases because you're grieving
Why did you need? You
I didn't actually
You knew
do
that
it.
I came to the funeral. You didn't. You didn't need my signature. Are you using this for credit card theft? Are you taking out credit cards in my name? And
I
you need the
didn't
signature?
do this. I didn't. Again, when I saw this, I was like, "This is unreal." Like I had them send everything to me because, like, I'm like, these people are trying to screw me. Like I know they're trying to screw me.
I'm weird. I don't look back on stuff like that too often. But how often does somebody go back and look through the guest book?
No one never does
at a funeral. I don't. Yeah.
I swear it was like $70 or $80.
It never occurred to me that somebody pays for that.
Oh yeah, you have to pay for the guest book. Like it's not like the funeral home provides it. That's an upcharge.
It's not included.
You can
in the
provide
service.
whatever you want. But here's the thing: you could, if people wanted to, you could go buy them on Amazon every day for $5, and as soon as someone dies, be like, look, they're going to try to get you for $80. I'll give it to you for $20, and you can make so much money that way.
Like you need funeral in a box,
Yeah.
for all the stuff that they try and get you for.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy. Like the amount of charges so when you have to get a death certificate, I think those are free.
You pay a small fee at the county, but you could just go get it yourself at the.
You can go get it, but they provide services and they will go run them. And I forget how it's like $20 or $30 per gift or per death certificate. And I'm like, you're running there anyways. You're going to get tons of death certificates. You're a funeral home.
You've got 12 funerals this week. Can you roll us in together? And
Can we get a bulk rate? Like, can we all form an association?
Is there a Groupon? Is there a funeral Groupon that I can buy?
There isn't.
It's like a Black Friday special, 40% off.
So here's the thing: one of the prominent
funeral home talk, everybody at on the Boss Hog of Liberty.
I don't know how we
podcast.
got here.
This is where we are now.
Too many beers, but if we're just talking about corruption, and this is just part of it. So one of them now owns the monument place. So now when they sell you a monument, it's a separate corporation.
They get on both sides,
but they own it, and they're like, so we work with these people. Well, it's like those people are you. Like, what are you talking about?
you just changed ties.
Yeah,
you put your blazer on and walked outside.
You went from Ted to Teddy, But yeah, anyways,
Is that $38 a letter for the engraving too?
So when we did my dad's, we went to where did we go? Batesville Monument, and engravings included. So they're that place is super awesome. Like when you go to buy a monument, if there's ever a super place awesome to go buy monuments.
I've told Sarah I want an obelisk as tall as we can get. Whatever the tallest one is, I want to just. That's the one.
You
I
need
want.
To put back $10,000.
That's fine.
I'm just letting you know because a medium.
I want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on an obelisk.
So
somebody has to mow around it, and it's in the skyline of the damn.
Jeremiah's future children where's our inheritance? It's in the obelisk.
It's in the obelisk.
In there.
It's always
I've made this joke for 3 years with Sarah to the point where if I die first, she'll probably do it just to laugh at.
I'm going to sign off the house for an obelisk.
It's there.
I want Washington Monument in Henry Township.
Washington Monument, it's gonna. I mean, $100,000 could get you something really obnoxious,
something beautiful.
But because I'm saying, my dad's headstone was $3,000. That's lettering and everything, but and delivery and installation,
tax, title, license, registration.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that I've always had this thing where I'm like, cemeteries don't scale. It's not a scalable platform. You're going to run out of property and it doesn't make sense. But anyway, so I'm like, maybe I should be investing in plots so I can resell them in the future. Wow. Because my dad's plot and my mom's plot, I think it's $600 each in Knightstown. I was like, this is insane. So if I bought these and if they really would be buried nice, I'm like, what's going to cost you $1,200 a plot? I double my money. And even the guy at the headstone place, he's like, I'm not going to lie, I've considered it. I was like, because he understands how crazy it is.
Put a for sale by owner sign right in the
plot.
You knew Phil, huh? You want to be buried by Phil? It's $1,300.
Well, I think
I've been saving the spot for you.
I think that's going to happen.
Let it go today for $1,250.
I would not be surprised if government. I'm trying to rope this back in.
No, I've really enjoyed this tangent.
So, I think government's going to rope it in, and they're going to be like, "Look, we can't bury people anymore." They're going to force cremations and shit, right? It's just eventually what happened because it doesn't scale. It's going to
they
be
have
a
to
problem.
eventually they're full, but you still have to maintain them.
Yes, and you only pay one fee, and whatever someone paid in 1972 was like $200 for a plot,
And they're good for the rest of time.
and they're good for the rest of time. That doesn't scale. And the $600, right? Like, I don't know how many people they bury per year, but I could probably get those numbers. But like how that's only going to buy so many like salaries and gasoline.
I'm waiting on my mom, Joyce Morrell, to weigh in here in the chat if you're following, because she was the head matron of the Rushville Cemetery.
Yeah, but
for like 3 years.
And I feel like there's an impending problem, and I think that the price per plot is going to skyrocket eventually.
You're not worried about landfills
there's like
filling up. You're worried about cemeteries
I'm
filling
trying
up.
to think of how they did it, but there was like in some other countries they just don't bury people, or I think they do, and it's like a short term thing. Like you get it for a couple of years, like you lease it basically, and then eventually they move you out and they move you somewhere else, and somebody else gets the spot.
Well, like
Yeah, you do run out of space.
they
Eventually.
need to do it vertically, so that will probably be what we switch to first. I'm serious.
Standing.
Standing up.
Weekend at Bernie's. That thing.
There are some places I believe where they shoot you in up like vertically.
They shoot you in
Well, whatever.
like they're driving pile.
You just go into the dirt. But anyway,
Yeah, you're going to need to buy that. Listen, man, we can't put you in a concrete vault because it'll crack when we drive you in. We need to go steel, and we got to put a tip on it so it'll go down through.
Do you
the
want to
hole.
face your wife, or do you want to face the other way?
they're going to look like bullets. You know,
You want to face your
They're gonna
wife or your
be
mistress?
tapered.
You pick.
Yeah, but if you go in vertically, like that gives you way more square footage, right, to put people in.
Patreon was oyster dressing, everybody, and now we are into the
Get a really nice casket, just have a machine that literally just hammers it into the ground.
Exactly. Just it'd be like air hammers, man.
it's like driving piles.
So anyway,
Guffey, you got anything on this?
All I know is I'm getting cremated.
Don't you miss Dakota?
Yeah, he was the only sane one on this show.
he's busy getting swole.
All right, final thing we're supposed to be talking about here. I threw this in here just for fun. How we all doing with Christmas spirit? Were we feeling it? You decorated your house?
Yeah, I was able to decorate my house on Black Friday because my wife didn't go shopping. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go down and pull all this stuff up. So we got our tree and all the decorations up, and I will hammer out Christmas movies like it's my job. I've already watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2.
Terrible movie.
Which one?
National Lampoon.
Oh, you don't like that?
You can just take off, Guffy.
Yeah, you're an
We're
American.
done with you
That's
now.
a great movie.
I hate it.
Oh, Cousin Eddie. I want a Cousin Eddie sticker for my camper right above the black tank valve.
I could probably get that for
My
you.
wife desperately wants to put together the Becky Dalton viewing party at some point in the holidays. She wants to get the Morrells and the Burchams together so that we can watch the Mrs. Hinch videos.
I watched Home Alone.
A good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that brings back nostalgia for me. But
Yeah, my kids were not like. It was funny. He did not like when he stepped on the nail, but then when he got his head set on fire, my son just laughed. He just thought that was so great. And I was like, "Wait,
Owen or Jackson?"
Owen. I was like, "Wait till you see 2," because I think I watched somebody break down the second one, and they said in actuality they would have died like 6 times.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it gets ridiculous.
It opens up the brick to the head off like a 4-story. They said that's
the
over.
paint cans to the head would have killed you in one.
Or you would have been
Well,
definitely in the ER.
he gets the iron dropped on his head from down the laundry chute.
Yeah, that like burns him.
Yeah. Burns. Oh,
The multiple falls down the ice would have busted up a shoulder. I mean, there are
doorknob?
some major. Yeah, the doorknob is a horrific injury.
that's
Horrific.
nightmarish.
Falling from on the
They cuts the rope.
yeah
on
when
the-
they cut the rope
on
and he
the-
falls
on
from
the zip line.
38 feet in the air.
See, I'm planning on knocking out a couple more. Like my wife went off and started.
And I know that Harry and Marv are much older than I am now. I know if I fell from 30 feet today, I am not
no.
chasing the kid next door.
I fall down just.
I broke
off
a
my
leg at
feet.
less a distance 20 years
I
ago.
get out of bed and I injure myself. I don't know what we're talking about.
I've legit hurt myself getting in and out of bed. Like I couldn't walk for a day or two. Like, if I just fall just from standing, it hurts a lot. Let alone swing into a brick wall face first.
Zach, that was my other problem on the Georgia trip. That I described the trip down in detail.
Worth it for the Patreon.
But
Yeah, say, join the Patreon.
But I stayed in a Murphy bed, which was fantastic, great, very nice. But the way the Murphy bed was designed, the mattress was about 3.5 inches off the ground.
Wow.
So I was climbing in and out of this bed that is so low
with your bruised up knees
with
from
my
climbing on the truck.
with all of my wounds from the trip down.
But yes, I will knock out. My wife started a show on Netflix called The Crown about the British monarchy. And I'm like, I don't have time for this right now. It's not Christmas, and I've got Christmas movies.
It's the most joyful I've seen April on Facebook in a while.
Yeah,
so I
she's
wouldn't take that
super
away
excited, and yeah. So, but I need to, like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. That's a 3-movie set. I enjoy those.
Did you ever watch Krampus? That came out a couple years ago.
No, I have not.
Do you like horror movies?
Not really.
It's not terrible. Like it's kind of it's more funny, I guess, than scary. But
Mixed Nuts is always my go-to.
To eat?
The movie.
Never heard of it.
Adam Sandler, Gary Shandling. It's funny. It's a very dark comedy, but it's actually funny.
I think there's is it Deck the Halls or something like that?
Steve Martin.
There's one with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito that's pretty entertaining. Yeah, I'll just look up stupid Christmas movies and just watch away for the rest of it. I mean, still got 3 weeks to go. So
what is everybody's favorite Christmas movie to watch?
Mixed Nuts is my backup, but my true favorite is Christmas Vacation.
When the theme song for Christmas Vacation comes on, just that song, I'm in a good mood.
Oh my
God! I'm glad you're moving to Delaware County.
Me too,
take
man.
That negativity away from us.
It's got to be the Grinch.
No, I can't stand the Grinch.
It's gotta be. And here's another question: do you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No. It's an action movie that takes place in December.
It's a Christmas movie.
I've never seen Die Hard, so I don't have an opinion.
Before the internet, nobody gave a shit about that. It's just that's just one of those things that people like to say.
It's another tribalism.
It's a Christmas movie.
They're dividing the
that's
country.
not true. You didn't even think of it as a Christmas movie until 4 years ago.
It is a Christmas movie.
You stop it.
You stop it.
Stop it. You're being ridiculous.
You're being ridiculous.
I'm not going to help you Sunday. You move your own shit. I don't know how you're going to do it. Good luck.
I mean, you don't even remember till you watch Christmas Vacation about Jillian Dreyfus being the next door neighbor and all the torture that they go through. That's spectacular. I'm like,
you do have it terrible. I can understand why they hate them.
Yeah.
When the ice comes out of the gutter, goes through the window, destroys their stereo,
Takes out the
carpet's
hi-fi.
wet. Screw them.
What's really funny is I watched that movie when I was young. It just was always on TV, and I never really understood how cultish, right, the actual movie is. But it's probably my favorite, although I don't watch a lot. I haven't answered my questions, but
Ernest Saves Christmas also. A very strong contender.
Did you turn on Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. We now have Christmas Vacation on the studio television.
But Ernest Saves Christmas is pretty good. But I like a lot of Ernest films. So
I grew up on Ernest.
Ernest Goes to Jail is excellent.
Ernest Goes to Jail is great. Ernest Halloween, whatever. Scared Stupid, great.
I never did watch Ernest Goes to Africa. That was
I did.
That was too recent for me.
Skip it. Don't watch it. It's terrible. But the Ernest Goes to Jail, is that the one where they're in the bank?
Yeah. There's the electric chair. He turns into Electro Man.
But there was a scene where they had a floor buffer, and it's on the ceiling, and he's holding from and it's I don't know. Those movies were always over the top. They jump the shark as soon as the credits start rolling.
Let's see. There's one where he saves the speaking of Britain, the crown jewels of Britain, and then there's
that sounds ridiculous. What was your favorite Ernest movie?
Oh, Ernest Goes to Camp. I think I remember Ernest going to camp being pretty good.
Ernest Scared Stupid. I used to watch it.
Ernest Goes to School. Ernest in the Army. Slam Dunk Ernest.
I no longer have camping, so I have found so much time to watch movies. I watched, and I have kids, so I don't watch good movies. I've watched all the Shreks, which are fantastic. Actually, they hold up real well. There's a great adult level of humor in those.
Yeah,
is great as an adult, and your kids are laughing, but they're not laughing at the same time as you are. I watched all the Jason Bourne movies and stuff. I've watched way too much television.
I think Ernest Rides Again is the one where he has the crown jewels of England.
Sounds like
I'm gonna guess.
I've never seen
the full list. Dr. Otto and the Riddle of Gloombeam, which is a cameo. Apparently, I don't know. Ernest Goes to Camp is the first one. Saves Christmas was the second. Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Scared Stupid. Ernest Rides Again, 1993. And this is where I jumped off. Apparently, everything after this is direct to video, so I did not watch those, even though I didn't go to the theater to watch any of these.
Right. I rented all these movies.
Yeah. Ernest Goes to School, Slam Dunk, Ernest Goes to Africa, and Ernest in the Army, all direct to video.
I've seen Ernest.
So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. So, and then, of course, Toy Story.
Toy Story. Oh.
Who's he in Toy Story?
Slinky Dog.
Slinky Dog.
Did you know that? How did you?
No. I mean,
your brother went to his grave, I believe, in Kentucky recently.
I try to be pretty good about picking up voice actors because that's a fascinating thing, or it's fun for me to like let's watch a movie and like Cars. The original Cars has a Michael Schumacher voiceover cameo, and I'm like, nobody even gets that's good. And then I think Cars 3 has the actual the Clackett brothers or whatever from NPR that did Car Talk, and one of them's dead. And he did a cameo in Cars 3, and he was dead before he did it. I was like, there are so few people that are going to pick up that's the two voices here. And he has 1 million hours of audio.
They've got enough to work
so
from.
they cut it together. I was like, oh, that's fantastic.
Ernest, Jim Varney, rather, was also in the Beverly Hillbillies, which I thought was great as well.
Yep.
So
he was definitely there.
That was in my prime 9, 10-year-old Jeremiah. I did see that one in the theater in Muncie.
The Beverly Hillbillies?
Beverly Hillbillies, yes. That was one of my first 3 or 4. My first movie I ever saw in the theater was the original Home Alone.
I don't remember my first movie, but probably Lion King or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, anyway, my point was, it's like, I don't know if I've ever watched this whole movie.
Yeah,
I would always catch this part of it.
Well, this is the very beginning.
I know.
We're driving through the mountains of Chicagoland.
What I think I'm trying to say is I don't know if I've ever watched it in one session.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
There's a bunch of movies that are like that I've seen like bits and pieces of. And I'm like,
The Big Lebowski is that way for me.
I've never sat down and just watched this movie.
Yeah. Big Lebowski for sure.
As we're wrapping this segment up, did you realize how big of a part Kenny Rogers had in The Big Lebowski?
I don't even remember Kenny Rogers in The Big Lebowski.
He sings in the movie.
Well, most of the time I'm at a bar and I'm watching it in the subtitles. So, like, the
whole dream sequence thing is to Kenny Rogers acid rock song.
No. Again, I don't even know if I've ever heard it. I'm usually in a bar and The Big Lebowski is playing and it's subtitles, so I'll read it.
You got audio over there, producer Chris?
I could probably get audio. Everything's muted right now, though.
Evidently, we're taking Kirstie Avery back to her days as a video store. Worked in a video store.
I wanted to be able to get so rich where I could just work in a video store.
Guffey, I need you to give me the first edition. Just dropped in to see what my condition was.
Rogers?
Yeah, this is right out of The Big Lebowski.
All right,
but it is the last thing you ever think of as Kenny Rogers. This is psychedelic pop music in the 1960s. I didn't realize it was Kenny Rogers at the time. It took me a very long time to get that. And I didn't even realize, because once again, it's from the 60s. I didn't know. I thought it was music they made for the movie. But it's not. Producer Chris, you got it queued up?
No, not at all. No.
I was going to say, I thought you were doing it. I'm like,
I'm watching his screen and he's typing. He's like, no.
I got it ready to go. I can send you the link if you require it. I figured you would have found it already.
You got your Christmas stuff up, Jeremiah?
No. Okay. So I've got.
You had to recover from your trip.
Yeah. I've had no window of opportunity to do it. That's my problem.
And it got cold right when you got home, too.
All of my stuff, I'm not certain that it's going to get put up outside. I'm quite certain it's probably not. The inside the house Christmas tree, I don't even know about that. I've got my ceramic Christmas tree has been up since last year, so I'm kind of ahead of the game.
You're super optimistic.
That one's still there. Everything else got carried downstairs.
You have like 30 rooms. You could just move them.
Everything got moved downstairs to the green living room about a week and a half ago. But then we went to Georgia for a weekend. And then this weekend I'm helping Guffey move. So I don't know when I'm going to do it.
I was just saying, like,
it's going to be like December 17th. And by the time it gets put up then,
you just move everything into an unused room.
That's what I'm saying. Just move it all into, you could do that and you would never know you're missing space.
Or just do what people are doing and like just a lot. I know. And normally I'm a day after Thanksgiving guy. That's when Christmas, the earliest Christmas should go up, but a lot of people have been put up earlier. I'm like, you know what? It's 2020. It's a dumpster fire. Do whatever you need to do, people, to feel good. So
it still feels like April. Other than it being dark outside,
part of my brain is stuck in March.
Yep.
And we'll be in. And somebody said, like, there's I'd probably Spangle again. Spangle's always posted me. It's like March is 3 months away, and I'm still stuck in last March. Like, I can't deal with March 2021. March 2020 isn't over yet.
Well, we just had the anniversary of the coronavirus when they first like announced it, right?
Yeah, the first.
And now they think that it was potentially in.
The audio is playing.
Yeah. What condition I can
just getting started here.
You
might have to kick it up just a little bit louder.
You call this trip pop? What did you call this? Acid jazz?
I think it was called
Acid pop? You said something acid. Acid rock. That's what you said.
This is Kenny Rogers and the first edition, and it's called Psychedelic Pop.
Psychedelic pop.
Psychedelic Pop. Crank it up, Guffey.
You want me to crank it up?
Yeah. Yep. In The Big Lebowski, this is where he's like floating through the air, all screwed up, all on drugs, whatever. I think it happens 1 to 2 times in the movie. He's like knocking down bowling pins, floating through space.
Again, maybe I've not seen that part.
I've never seen The Big
I've been
Lebowski.
piecing it part. It's a cult classic to people. And
Yeah, I mean,
I've not ever taken the time
Mark
to
it
sit down and
zero,
watch it.
Donnie, and then John Goodman gets his gun to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great movie.
Boondock Saints is my favorite cult movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
All right.
So good.
So Christmas spirit, Guffey, you got it?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I'm more focused on,
You're trying to move your
buying
life.
the house, getting moved, doing all this. We were hoping that we might be in before Thanksgiving so we could invite some people over, have Thanksgiving.
How's that working out?
Didn't happen. So now we're going to try to get the house situated and ready and maybe invite a few people over for like Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve and whatever, just to have people.
You're going to
over.
counter program Dakota's family on Christmas Eve?
Yes.
How dare you?
It's all right.
Make me choose.
It's weird. I never said you were invited. The Potters are.
Make me choose between the Tom and Jerry's party, the Davis party, and yours.
The Potters are. The Potters
You're also invited to my Christmas Eve party.
Yes.
Will there be little devils on trees?
It's just me, drunk, possibly barely clothed.
maybe
playing
you'll come to the
Rocket
Elks Club for the Tom and Jerry's with me then.
I'm not going to the.
It'd be great.
My annual trip to a bar is on Christmas Eve. If it's open,
Nice.
I'm not sure if the bar is open.
Which one?
Currently, they are.
The Ice House. Ice
I
House
think
is
currently
we
the
have
bars
several
are-
bars that are in flux of ownership. And
Oh.
At one point, there were like 3 bars in Newcastle.
Snedeker's is for sale.
They were
I know
for
that.
sale, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of liquor licenses up for grabs, and so I'm not sure if
Good time to start your
Snedeker's.
brewery, Guffey.
Snedeker's, new
there any-
scooters.
Are there any of them that are smoke free right now? Like like voluntarily smoke free?
Not the Ice House. I have to shower after I leave there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been to the Ice House.
In
and I got
theory,
a
they're
sinus
all
infection.
smoke-free by law.
Scooters isn't.
Are they? When did
Town
that pass?
Tavern isn't.
The county's had it for quite some time. A couple of years.
Really?
Yes. But check local listings on whether or not they're observing that rule when you go in.
Oh no, I didn't think Henry County passed that law. Weird.
Yep. Anyway.
Not that I know.
I was like, I don't either.
Ordinance.
I think this is the wrong
Yeah.
Newcastle ordinance.
Local ordinance.
Okay, so it's not being enforced. I think state because it's definitely not a county. Henry County does not abide by the smokers thing.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway. So Christmas spirit, Zach's got it. Me, not so much. Guffey, not so much. And Jesse's going to do the same thing he does every year. Or
My mom asked me if I was putting up a tree, and I told her no.
you need to borrow a tree?
I am going to try to put up some lights, though. I just want Christmas. I think Christmas lights should be a year-round thing. I like them. Like they add a good ambiance to the world, most rooms. But
All right. Final thoughts. Producer Chris.
I've got nothing.
You got nothing? You got a moving date. You normally advertise what you're doing on the weekend. Of all the weekends, this feels like the one where you ought to be like, hey, everybody, meet me at this place at this time to do this one thing.
I don't want people to know where I live. I only want a certain few. It's the same rule with my house, my current place. It's going to be the same
Is there
rule.
an online public record in Delaware County that tells everybody where you live?
Join
now?
the Patreon, everybody.
Hey,
And
Zach, I'm going to tell you, shut the fuck up. I don't want people to know that they have that ability.
Chris Staten doesn't own anything yet. I just want to be able to vlog the old place.
Nope.
Once we've gotten everything out of there, the cat is safely in a crate. I want to vlog it for content.
No.
Patreon,
Nope.
do it.
Sorry.
All right.
Not happening.
you can just break in after he leaves. You could do like black market podcasting.
What kind of multi-level marketing are you over there doing nowadays, Jesse? What are we promoting? Alt Fort Enterprises? We doing? Are we joining? Are we getting people to sign up for Cricket Wireless over there? What are you going to promote? I'm looking forward to this.
What am I going to promote? Man, it kind of sucks because I've dropped the ball, but I am going to be starting a online company called nerdsquirrel.com. And
do you need to reserve this URL right now?
I already own it. I've already owned it. I've got a logo. I've dropped the ball and not actually opened up the Shopify website yet. But the idea is to be a little bit more nerdier than like thinkgeek.com, who got bought out by GameStop. So if I can make this and get bought out, like that would be great. But it's more of just to have like a place where I can place all of my products without the other platforms trying to deplatform me because they think I'm violating some kind of regulation or some sort of trademark problems that don't like. I'm not breaking, but to cover their own butts, they decide like I tried to make a shirt the other day, for example, of George Carlin, and I wanted like George Carlin was right, and I saw some comedian wearing this shirt. This is just said George Carlin was right. I was like, that's a beautiful shirt. Where did you get that? And it's like, I could just make this and put it on Amazon merch, right? So I put on there. Well, apparently you can't use the words George Carlin. Someone apparently has that trademarked. I don't know how you can trademark someone's name, but whatever. So they wouldn't let me post it. I could put Carlin. I just couldn't put George Carlin.
Jorge Carlin.
So anyway, stuff like that, just to have a place where people know where to go. And then my fees will be less on my stickers and stuff. Try to drive traffic that way. See if I can't get I'm trying to grow my sticker business horizontally. And if I can do that, that would be pretty awesome. Because like right now, I probably make like $100, $200 a month and very, very mostly passive income.
Are you bought a house next to the post office just so that you can mail shit?
Well, that wasn't the point, but it works out very well. Yeah. Once I saw that, I was like, well, this is where I'm going to live.
Works out nicely.
Yeah. But anyway,
until the government closes that post office.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Whatever. We should get rid of the post office. But outside of that, I don't have anything else to promote, I don't think.
What happens if you go to Los Churros in Knightstown and you order the Jesse?
What happens? When you go there and order the Jesse, you get a arroz con pollo. I should be rolling my R's there, but I'm terrible at it. And it comes with chorizo and pineapple. It's delicious.
It's on the menu.
It's on the menu.
You have food named after you.
Yes.
Very first guest, 185 episodes. First guy, you go into this restaurant, order the Jesse, and you get it.
Yeah, it's named after me. He's like, I'm going to name a dish after you, Gustavo. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to. He's like, once. He's like, well, I'm going to call it. No, he's like, I'm going to call it the Hawaiian something. He's like, or I could call it the Jesse. I'm like, you don't need to do that, man. Like, you can do whatever you want. And he's like, And then he's like, look at the menu. You know, he's like pointing at him like, God damn it.
Did you create the combination?
Yeah, I do it everywhere I go. They've put it on the menu at Los Amigos. They just didn't let me name it. I forget what it's called at Los Amigos, but it has its own name. But it's the same dish. It's just like when I go and I'm like, I want arroz con pollo and I want chorizo and pineapple. All my friends go to those same locations, so we order it. And then it like that combination propagates, and everybody's like, "Well, we should just add this to the menu," because otherwise they have to go in and like do ads all the time, right? So
just make it something.
It's simple for them to like just make.
And a Mexican restaurant has 7,000 things on the menu anyway.
Oh yeah. Does it have a number?
No numbers.
Hasn't got number stats quite yet.
It doesn't. It has a number during lunch, but you would have to be like, "I want the Jesse lunch," and you would be able to get it that way. But there's no number. I don't think if you gave them the number, they'd be like, I don't know what the hell that means. So.
I actually know multiple people with food named after them. And that's just because my brother worked at Scotty's, but not anymore because Scotty's isn't around.
Yeah,
but, when they opened up, and I knew most of the people that the food was named after, including Leslie, who had the Schumann, and it was the peanut butter jalapeno burger.
Wait, I thought the Schumann was named after the stadium.
No. I don't think it was Schumann
It's
Stadium.
Schumann Stadium in Ball State. I thought they named it after the stadium.
Nope. It was named after a
I know
bartender server there who is, she's hilarious. She was great. And she's the one that created it. She's like, let's do this. And yeah, she created the Schumann. So that is where that came from. Yeah, Dan's darn good rap. I knew Dan. I knew Tim. I know, a bunch of those guys. I could tell you who were. Because they all worked there. They all stuck around for a pretty long time.
Yeah, I think like when Papa Roo or Mama Roo, whatever, one of the things I got there, like I got to have a name on it for they did it as a special one day. So
But it wasn't on the permanent menu like this is.
Yeah,
you are a fixture as long as, and Mexican restaurants don't go away.
Well, this
is forever.
With my friends at work, like I'm a brown guy with them, like all my Colombian friends and stuff. Like we're secretly like, you're a brown guy like us. I'm like, I know.
You go in there and just order a me. You say, I want me.
Well, that's what's always like, I guess I want the Jesse. Like it's super funny. It's super awkward. And I've also been like, what
if you go in and you don't order the Jesse?
Oh, they get confused. They get so confused. Like they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just want a burrito. Like, nah. So the other day, I was like,
an insult.
Well, the last day I went in there, I was like, can I do the Jesse, but instead of like a roast rice, can I do like frijoles, like negro frijoles? Yeah. So black beans. And he's like, oh, for sure, man. Like, and they brought it out. I was like, I was like, you guys shouldn't have, like, I'm still twerking this recipe. Like,
everybody's not done yet.
Everybody's putting the stamp on. I'm like, I'm not done. Like, I want
the Jesse too.
Yeah.
The Jesse alternate.
I'm going to have to create some different things with it, but
this is like in football, they have an offense and you can take a play and you can flip it. You got like a whole playbook here.
You need a whole section. It's just like Jesse's World. It's just different stuff.
I need a website. Yeah, but if you go here, order this for me, like, if I go to like Chili Water Brewery in Indy, I've got everybody on that train of like using the like ordering the chili, but you put in a they have a sauce, like a Thai curry sauce or something. No, lime curry. Sorry, and it's like Bruno or whatever you guys know. MJ.
He's former guest on the show.
Yeah. So like one day he did it because I ordered it with him there, and then he trades like, holy shit, man, you just changed my mind, or like just, like opened my mind up. I'm like, yeah, it's like why would you not put lime and curry and chili? Like they are very similar spices. It's very good. So anyway, yeah, I have nothing to promote outside of.
I feel like you promoted a lot.
Eat local restaurants, and support your local community.
Applebee's will never name anything after.
Don't ever fucking go to Applebee's. Like, that place is terrible.
Half price apps in 17 minutes.
Yeah, well. I haven't eaten dinner, so it was also very, very breaking the law busy when I came over here earlier. So
Zachy B,
LNK, always do LNK. Kid could have been here, but he's rolling around on a mat in Muncie.
Are you the produce guy?
No, he is.
Okay.
And I used to jump in here for him, so I'm like, I'll just promote. So they got the fruit stands closed, but you get their beef there. Beehive Body Company is my cousin's. She does like sugar scrubs and soaps and all that fun stuff. And she's got bath bombs. And so she's got stuff like a Warm Glow. And then she's got her own online store. So that, and yeah, eat local. We used to eat Montgomery's last week. And then we need to hit up Primo and some other places in town because they're good food. And you don't have to drive that far. Yeah, and they probably need the business.
Yeah. Did you guys do anything for Giving Tuesday? I kicked in a couple. I did the Racing for Cancer thing on Tuesday. They had some cool stuff. Marshall Pruitt and his cast of characters. We kicked in over there. That was fun.
I kicked in over to Hinch's charity, the Stop and Go Foundation.
Very nice. Looking forward to some swag that's going to come in the mail. Get something to look forward to. So should be fun. And then racing, not IndyCar, but Roman Grosjean had a car crash on Sunday that was
insane. You look that up online incredible. If you didn't see it.
Jesse, did you see this?
I've not seen it.
Type in Roman.
Roman Grosjean.
Like Roman, like noble Romans?
Yeah, Roman, and then just start typing GROS,
and it'll probably
be enough.
GRO. I use a weird browser, so it's not going to autocomplete for me.
GROSJEAN.
He's
Bahrain crash, and his car. He got turned into a guardrail, which normally you wouldn't hit because it's a straightaway.
It's really Romaine, not Roman, I guess, but ROMAIN.
And his
Grosjean, okay.
Yeah. And his car turned into the guardrail with such force that it just ripped the back of the car off, and then the part that he was in went through the guardrail.
Are you watching the video?
I'm pulling it up
and caught fire. And
I don't want this audio.
He's got the audio working.
I don't want that.
I always have to check to make sure. And he was very lucky. It was lap 1. And so Formula One has these glorious medical cars, AMG Mercedes wagons that drive behind the field for the first lap. And so luckily there was a doctor on site right then. And he extricated himself from the car. And he actually had to climb out the side of his halo. They have like a bar that goes around their head. He had to go out the side because the guardrail was on top. So the halo saved his life. He was evidently in there and they're lucky. They used to have a 10-second rated fire suit. They went to 20 seconds this year. He was in there for 28 seconds.
Wow.
Got himself out of the car, and he just has burns to one of his feet because evidently I didn't realize this till
He lost his shoe.
He lost a shoe in there. I bet there's nothing left of the shoe, and his gloves probably weren't rated that well, so he burned the back of his hands. He has 3rd-degree burns on the back of his hands, but he's like, he was out of the car.
They're spraying him down right now. He's jumping out. He's like, get me out of here.
Yeah. And you can tell his hands are bugging him right away because he's like shaking his hands. But yeah, it was the most insane accident. Then for him to walk
drove
out.
through the guardrail.
I say for him to walk out, that's insane.
And
he's like in perfect condition.
He's not perfect. He's got mittens. He's got burns on his hands.
His face. Yeah. Nothing's wrong with his face.
Yeah. When if it hadn't been for the halo, his head wouldn't have been attached.
He would have been gone.
Yeah, but it was just, I remember somebody's like, have you watched the Formula One race yet? I'm like, no. And then I see something. I was like, oh, I need to watch this. I was like, oh, because somebody pointed out there hasn't been like a fiery accident. And they mentioned I think it was Gerhard Berger. And I remember him from when I was a kid. So it's been like
20-some years
since there has been an actual like on fire accident, except in the pit lane. They have those periodically, but not really accidents. And for him to get out and like they show, it's just look it up. But the technology for him to survive that and to potentially be racing in 2 weeks. Like they say he might make the finale. He won't make the race this week, but he'll make the finale potentially.
I dropped the video in the chat. With that, we thank everybody for joining us. Absolutely awesome to be back after the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll get this edited and back out for you guys tonight. Maybe first thing tomorrow morning, but probably tonight. And we'll see if we can bring Dakota back to work next week. We'll see y'all then.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at wearelibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to wearelibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.